This beautiful bride is to marry a crippled general, but on the wedding day, the bride poisons the nuptial wine to poison the groom. However, Gashenghan asks her to drink first. Otherwise, he won't drink. Wait, Zidan, in order to kill Shanghan, decisively drinks the poison wine, but is truly unique. Shanghan's cousin suddenly barges in, claiming she has a childhood engagement with him. She insists on drinking the nuptial wine, as well. Unexpectedly, Shanghan agrees. But Zidan remembers the poison wine, and tries to stop them. However, Shanghan pulls her back. His cousin happily drinks the poison wine, to make Yushi vomit the poison. Zidan burns a wedding paper and puts it in the wine jar. Then she pinches Zi's chin and pours the antidote into her mouth. But Yushi is unaware of this, and argues with Zidan. This makes Yushi notice the scar on Zidan's hand. Stop. Get the young lady out of here. When Shanghan returns to his room, he is not only unpoisoned, but his leg is also not crippled. For him, speaking, Zidan's poison is nothing. It turns out Shanghan is the great general of Zhenbai, and Zidan is the daughter of a peerless divine doctor. One day, she witnessed the general massacre her entire family. Even her father died tragically at his hands. She herself was almost trampled to death by him. 1 year later, Zidan appears at the prime minister's mansion as a servant. She also resembles the bride, King. King is melancholic because the emperor has arranged her marriage to the crippled general. So, Zidan volunteers to marry Shanghan. In Qing's, after she wakes up, she remembers what happened last night. She keeps wondering if Shanghan is faking his crippled leg, and Shanghan, from the beginning, doesn't understand why Zidan's blood can neutralize the poison in his body. The same way, when she was panicked, he basically confirms that Zidan is the doctor he loved. But unexpectedly, Yushi suspects Zidan's identity. She brings an old woman. I am Qing's nanny. I can prove she is not Qing. Yushi shows the scar on Qing's hand as proof to determine if she is Qing. The nanny also says that she took care of King from childhood, and Qing's skin is as smooth as a baby's, so she has no scars. Shanghan knows she is disguised as King, but still helps her. Is everything she said true? If even one word is false, watch out for your head. Under Shanghan's intimidation, the nanny says that she left the general's mansion a year ago, and doesn't know if King currently has any scars. Shanghan orders the nanny to be punished. In desperation, the nanny kneels before Yushi, and says she was wrong. She says she was only paid to work for her. Even though Yuzi's scheme is exposed, she is not reconciled. She throws hot tea on Zidan. Instead, he suspects her of trying to kill him, but Zidan refuses to admit it. Then how do you explain the poison in the nuptial wine, the intimacy on our wedding night, and deliberately breaking the carriage? How do you explain these things? Hearing these questions, Zidan is not panicked at all. She fluently answers each question, but Zidan doesn't know that Gashenghan already knows her identity. But he still wants to protect her. That day, while Gashenghan is out, his cousin brings a Taoist priest to falsely accuse Zidan of bringing bad luck. Grandmother believes the Taoist priest and allows him to perform a ritual on Zidan being exposed to the strong sunlight. Zidan can't bear it anymore. A young man arrives and sees Zidan tied to a pillar. Why is it her? It turns out that not long ago, Gu Shengming collapsed on the street due to a relapse. Fortunately, Zidan saved him. As she gets up to leave, her veil is blown away by the wind. Gu Shengming falls in love with her. At first sight, he thought they would never meet again. Unexpectedly, when they meet again, she is his brother's wife. He wants to save Zidan, but grandmother is adamant, so he persuades grandmother to go back to her room and find another way. But when grandmother leaves, his cousin pours poison into Zidan's mouth. She wants to poison Zidan because she wants to replace Zidan as Shanghan's wife. At the critical moment, the masked general arrives. He immediately knocks out his cousin to save his wife. Zidan also faints. Suddenly, Gu Shengming appears. Seeing him, Shanghan leaves. When Zidan wakes up, she sees Gu Shengming in her room and mistakenly believes he saved her. After asking, she learns he is her brother-in-law. While thanking Gu Shengming, Zidan suddenly sees the jade. 3 years ago, that man also had an identical jade pendant, just like this one. She suspects Gu Shengming is that man. To confirm his identity, Zidan asks Shengming if he has ever been to the thatch cottage. Gu Shengming not only says yes, but he also says it's a place he will never forget. Gashenghan is standing outside the door. How does Gashengming know about the thatch cottage? And you even mistook him for me. It turns out the man Zidan saved was Gashenghan. They lived together for a month, and they developed feelings for each other. Gashenghan wanted to remove his mask and reveal his identity to her, but they encountered assassins. Zidan unhesitatingly takes an arrow for him. Gashenghan is enraged and kills all the assassins before taking her home, but he doesn't expect to be poisoned by the assassins. And there's only one antidote pill. To save his beloved, he breaks the pill in half and shares it with her. That's why Zidan's blood works on him. The jade pendant is also his personal belonging. Gu Shengming just happened to see it. But he wants to replace Gashenghan. So he deliberately lets Zidan misunderstand that he is the man in her heart. He even redraws the cottage for her. No, Zidan is certain that Gu Shengming is that man. Just then, Gu Shenghan suddenly pushes the door open. I didn't expect my wife to get acquainted with my brother, so then he leaves alone. Seeing that Shenghan is not well, Zidan chases after him. It's a full moon night. The poison in Gu Shenghan's body fully erupts. So he doesn't hurt her in the end. To avoid harming Zidan, he pulls out a knife and prepares to stab himself, but Zidan stops him. It's too late. Too late for what? It's too late. But Yushi witnesses this scene. She thinks Zidan is harming Shenghan. To punish Zidan, grandmother gives her two choices: divorce Shenghan or receive 100 lashes. To stay in the general's mansion. Zidan chooses to endure the 100 lashes, but before the punishment, her brother-in-law pleads for her. He says Shenghan was injured by accident. Grandmother finds him meddlesome, and orders both of them to be punished, 50 lashes each. As they are being beaten, Shenghan suddenly arrives. My wife. No one is allowed to touch a hair on her head. He orders someone to take Zidan away, but as soon as Zidan returns to her room, she asks Shenghan to save Shangming. Shenghan becomes jealous and refuses to go. Unexpectedly, Zidan threatens to expose his fake disability if Shenghan doesn't save him. She will tell everyone. To avoid exposure, Shenghan has to swallow his anger and agree. After saving him, Zidan goes to her brother-in-law to apply medicine. She even acts intimately with him. Furious, Shenghan goes to his brother's room and pulls Zidan back to his side. When he tries to take her away, his brother stops him. But Shenghan pushes him away. Seeing Shenghan's actions, Zidan feels injustice for her brother-in-law. Why are you so rough with your brother? You think I'm rough? I'll show you what real roughness is. He pulls her into his arms and forces her to leave. Back in their room, Shenghan carries Zidan to the bed. He wants to consummate their marriage. At this moment, Shenghan notices the tattoo on Zidan's chest. Zidan, this is a Hu Clan tattoo. Unexpectedly, someone is eavesdropping outside. After Shenghan discovers this, he immediately chases after her. He grabs the maid's neck and kills her without hesitation. Zidan sees everything. She misunderstands him as a ruthless demon who kills without blinking. Shenghan stops pretending. He exposes Zidan's identity. If you don't want to be exposed, stop your medical tricks. Zidan now realizes that Shenghan has long known she's not King. Now they both have each other's secrets. Zidan wants to make a deal with Shenghan, a marriage in name only, with no interference in each other's affairs. The next day, Zidan visits Shenghan. She says she can cure him, but on the condition that he divorces her afterwards. Furthermore, she can only develop the antidote in the forbidden area. Unexpectedly, Shenghan agrees immediately. He even allows her free access to the forbidden area. But after treating Shenghan, Zidan, while he's asleep, secretly searches for Deng Gao Tai's pass. She finds a box. Just as she's about to open it, Shenghan returns. Fortunately, Shenghan appears in time, otherwise she would have been in danger. The next day, Shengming, wanting to win over his sister-in-law, poisons his own tea. After drinking the tea, he reacts to the poison. Zidan rushes to check his pulse but finds it's only a mild poison. Zidan wonders who poisoned him. When Shengming blames his own brother, he also lies that his current frailty is due to being attacked by his brother 3 years ago. And recently, his brother has been frequenting a clinic. He doesn't know what his brother is plotting. Hearing this, Zidan secretly follows Gu Shenghan, but Gu Shenghan discovers her. Since you're here, come in and see. Then, Gu Shenghan takes Zidan to a refugee camp and distributes money to them. Only then does Zidan realize that Gu Shenghan goes to the clinic to help these people. She immediately gives them all her money. Gu Shenghan knows it's Zidan's birthday, but she is currently disguised as King, so she can't celebrate. To give her her favorite mungbin cakes, Gu Shenghan dismisses everyone and buys her all the mungbin cakes. Zidan finally smiles. Zidan's father hears that the couple is very loving, so he decides to help his daughter. He sends assassins to kill Gu Shenghan while they are strolling, but seeing him in danger, Zidan shields him with her body. Fortunately, the guards arrive and defeat the assassins. However, after returning home, Zidan goes to see Shengming and asks him to keep his brother occupied tomorrow. Shengming readily agrees. So, the next day, he plays chess with Gu Shenghan. Brother, you're going to lose today's game. We'll see who wins and loses. Meanwhile, Zidan is searching for the pass in Shenghan's forbidden area. Soon, she finds a box, but as she opens it, she triggers a trap. Smoke billows out. Seeing the smoke, Gu Shenghan knows Zidan has succeeded in obtaining the pass key. Brother, you lost. According to our agreement, the loser had rejected it, but now I'm sure. Zidan comes out of the room and sees this. Shengming pretends to be bullied. Zidan rushes over. Without asking why, she questions Gu Shenghan. Gu Shenghan, how can you be so cold-blooded? Committing fratricide? Me, cold-blooded? That's better than The sweet poison of a loving couple. Hopeless. Zidan is about to help Shengming when grandmother summons her. Having no choice, she goes to see grandmother first. Shengming follows her, infuriating Shenghan. As soon as grandmother sees Zidan, she wants to punish her according to family rules, but Zidan still doesn't know what she did wrong. Disregarding the etiquette between sister-in-law and brother-in-law is enough to warrant punishment. Zidan doesn't argue and goes to the ancestral hall for punishment. However, her real purpose is to steal Shenghan's pass. Just as she finds the pass, Shenghan arrives. Zidan hides the pass, but Shenghan knows she came for it. But he doesn't expose her. Outside, Shengming suddenly locks the door, pours oil on it, throws smoke inside, and sets it on fire. However, he doesn't know his brother is also inside. Sister-in-law, are you in there? Uncle, I'm in here, and so is she. Hold on, I'll save you. He pretends to call for help. Zidan remembers she hasn't taken the pass and goes back for it. She breaks the door with a chair, but is overcome by smoke. To save Zidan, Shenghan reveals his healthy legs. He breaks down the door with his wheelchair and carries Zidan out. His legs are not crippled. His brother miscalculated this time. When she says that since her uncle was outside, he didn't need to reveal his secret. However, Shenghan tells her that it was all his brother's doing. But Zidan doesn't believe him and blames Shenghan. Do you think everyone has ulterior motives? And no one can be trusted? Just consider that today, Shengming saved you. Shenghan angrily leaves. He plans to kill him during the family banquet. Although Shenghan is angry with Zidan, he still goes with her. Her father orders men to surround the building. Zidan stops her father. She says she has something to report. Her father takes her inside. As soon as they enter, he strangles her. Why didn't you report his fake paralysis? I really didn't know. He's always in his study, never letting me near. Her father temporarily believes her and lets her go. But when he asks about the pass, she will order Shenghan's death. Although she wanted to kill him before, after spending time together, Zidan has fallen for him. She chooses to hide the pass. Thus, Shenghan leaves safely. That evening, they admire the moon together. Shenghan, happier than ever, gives Zidan flowers. But Zidan doesn't accept his love and turns to leave. A few days later, influenced by her brother-in-law, Zidan visits her hometown, where her family was killed, and finds her father's memorial tablet. Thus, she believes her father really died a year ago. It turns out that on her birthday, her brother-in-law to inquire about her father. But Shengming uses this to frame his brother. However, his brother knows it's a trap. More importantly, he's worried that his wife's true identity will be revealed, so he risks his life to save Zidan. Shenghan angrily rushes to take his wife away, but she refuses to go with him. You murderer. You killed my father. Let me go. I'll tell you everything when we get back. Suddenly, two assassins appear. Shenghan quickly deals with one of them. Unexpectedly, blood splatters on his face. Coincidentally, it's a full moon night. The poison in his body suddenly flares up. Shenghan grabs the assassin's neck. This reminds Zidan of the night her family was killed. That night, Shenghan strangled her in a similar way, and massacred her father and clan. So, while her husband is fighting the assassin, Zidan stabs Shenghan in the chest. He never expected his wife to be so cruel to him, not even giving him a chance to explain. Zidan. Zidan is shocked to hear her name. She wonders how Shenghan knows her real identity. She wants to wait for him to wake up and ask him. However, when Shenghan wakes up, the man he has always loved, he deliberately says hurtful things to her. But Zidan still can't understand why he killed her family. Do I need a reason to kill? They were just targets for me to vent my anger on whenever my poison acted up. Do you know that the people you killed were my closest relatives? My only family? To make his wife give up, Shenghan even claims that he was just playing with her. Now that the game is over, it's time to discard you. But Zidan doesn't know that everything he's doing is to protect her. But Zidan doesn't know, and she hates Shenghan to the core. The next day, she prepares to leave, but her carriage is intercepted. Zidan looks out and sees it's her father. After meeting him, Zidan asks what happened. If you don't tell me now, I'll go back and ask him. In desperation, her father tells her everything. It turns out she is the daughter of the previous general, carrying the secret of the Hu clan tattoo, which can command the former troops to protect her from the prime minister. Shenghan plans to fake their deaths and escape. But before they can act, that night, the prime minister sends men to kill Zidan's family. It happens to be a full moon night. Poisoned, Shenghan accidentally attacks her, knowing the truth. Zidan finally understands Shenghan's suffering and rushes back to him. However, Shenghan says he has no romantic feelings for her. This time, no matter what he says, Zidan doesn't believe he doesn't love her, so Shenghan can't force her to leave. Having no other choice, Sheng Han knocks her unconscious with a kiss, and puts her in a carriage. However, as soon as she wakes up, she is intercepted and knocked unconscious again. Zidan is tied to a wooden frame, and brutally tortured, but the person who tied her up is her own father. What did you call me? Father? King. Then a woman walks out. This woman is the real King. Zidan hasn't seen King for a long time. Upon seeing Zidan, King starts whipping her to vent her anger. Stop. It's Sheng Han. Seeing Sheng Han, Zidan feels like she's seen a savior, but Sheng Han can't directly save her. He can only watch as King strangles her. Just as she's about to die, Sheng Han finally stops King. To prevent King from seeing his concern for Zidan, he says hurtful things to Zidan. Don't get your hands dirty for this kind of person. Take her back to the mansion and deal with her slowly. So, King takes Zidan back to the general's mansion and accuses her of stealing her jewelry. She plans to torture her. Just as King is about to start, Sheng Han suddenly returns and stops her. King suspects that Sheng Han is feeling sympathy for her. To protect Zidan from further harm, Sheng Han has no choice but to slap her hard. Don't let her affect your mood. The general always knows how to appease King. Let's go. Then Sheng Han takes King away King to test whether Sheng Han still cares about Zidan. Ties Zidan up and locks her in a wardrobe. She wants Zidan to and invites him to release sky lanterns with her. Unexpectedly, Sheng Han agrees. However, after releasing the lanterns, Zidan stabs Sheng Han. But Sheng Han doesn't understand why. You don't know, do you? I'm not King. I'm Zidan. But Sheng Han recognized her as Zidan at first sight. But he never realized how much he loved her, while she hated him so deeply. Fine, I'll grant your wish. The person you hate the most will disappear now. He then grabs Zidan's hand and stabs himself deeply. Despite being hurt by his wife, Sheng Han still doesn't want to hurt her. After returning home, he refuses treatment and faints from the pain. Zidan returns to the mansion only to see if her husband is dead, but learning that her husband recognized her from the start, she feels guilty. She hurriedly treats his wound. Waking up the next morning, Sheng Han realizes his wife saved him. In this world, only you can hurt me so easily. And only you can save me. The Divine Doctor. However, Sheng Han doesn't know that Zidan heard what he just said. The title Divine Doctor was something Zidan casually mentioned to the masked man 3 years ago. How does Sheng Han know? Could he be the masked man? To uncover the truth, she returns to the thatched cottage to find Shengming. He hesitantly says, "You understand me. I'm not even afraid of wild beasts in the mountains. How could I be afraid of Sheng Han? No matter how brave you are, you're still a woman. Let me protect you from now on." This makes Zidan suspicious. Perhaps Shengming is not the masked man she saved 3 years ago, because the masked man knew she was afraid of wild beasts. But the jade pendant on Shengming definitely belongs to the masked man. What's going on? Just then, she receives news that Sheng Han's grandmother is seriously ill and they are seeking a skilled doctor. So she takes down the notice and disguises herself as a doctor, going to Sheng Han's house to treat his grandmother. After checking her pulse, she finds she's been poisoned. Fortunately, she can cure it. After curing grandmother, Zidan deliberately drops Shengming's jade pendant. Although Shengming doesn't admit it, King has achieved her purpose. She immediately turns against Shengming and refuses to cooperate. Knowing the truth, Zidan tries to escape. After they leave, King intercepts them. "I went through so much trouble to lure you into the mansion. I can't let you escape so easily. It turns out she orchestrated everything. I deliberately poisoned Sheng Han's grandmother to lure Zidan out, just to get the Hu clan tattoo amulet. But Zidan doesn't have the amulet." Seizing an opportunity, Zidan throws sleeping powder at King and escapes. As she's being chased, Sheng Han arrives and saves her. Although he knows she is Zidan, he pretends not to know her and tells her to leave the general's mansion. Knowing she has wronged Sheng Han, Zidan reluctantly leaves. Soon after she returns to the thatched cottage, Shengming arrives and tells Zidan that King is dead. He claims Sheng Han killed her, but in reality, he killed her. Although Zidan has already guessed this, she pretends to be deceived. He even proposes to her, claiming it's for her happiness, and that this is Zidan's chance to kill Sheng Han. Zidan agrees without hesitation. But she has one condition: the wedding must be held at the Prime Minister's mansion. So he goes to persuade the Prime Minister. Unexpectedly, the Prime Minister agrees. Soon after, Zidan reappears before Sheng Han as the Prime Minister's long-lost daughter. She also announces to Sheng Han that she is going to marry Shengming. Sheng Han is furious and tries to force Zidan to leave with him, but Zidan refuses. She even says that she won't marry anyone but Shengming. Hearing this, Sheng Han angrily leaves. But Sheng Han doesn't know that Zidan is doing all of this to infiltrate the Prime Minister's mansion and steal the antidote for him. After searching for a while, she finally finds the antidote, but before she can leave, the Prime Minister catches her. In desperation, Zidan swallows the antidote. On Sengming's wedding day, Sheng Han brings his men to stop the wedding. But just as he's about to escape with the bride suddenly lifts her veil and tries to assassinate him. You're not her. The Prime Minister brings Zidan there and learns her true identity. As a descendant of General Fangming, he threatens Zidan's life and demands Sheng Han cut off his own leg to save her. To save Zidan, Sheng Han actually cuts off his own leg. Just as the Prime Minister rejoices, Sheng Han can only watch as his wife is taken away by his brother. Sheng Han is tied to a chair. Seeing Sheng Han, Zidan runs towards him. This angers Sheng Ming, so he orders his men to stab Sheng Han in the leg. He even twists the knife in the wound. Zidan can't bear to see Sheng Han tortured like this, so she agrees to marry Sheng Ming. But Zidan is not reconciled. While drinking wine, she throws the wine in his face. Then she pulls out her hairpin and stabs Sheng Ming in the chest. Zidan thinks she has killed him, but Sheng Ming is unharmed. It turns out he's wearing armor. He grabs Zidan by the neck, and Sheng Han is stabbed in the chest by a subordinate. In despair, Zidan allows Sheng Ming to manipulate her. The ceremony is done, the nuptial wine is drunk. What's next? Let's play a stimulating game. Sheng Ming makes his brother watch as he consummates the marriage with Zidan to make Zidan obey. He even poisons his brother. Want to save him? Then please me with your body. Undress. To save Sheng Han, Zidan obeys him. She starts undressing. Sheng Han is told to kneel and beg if he wants Sheng Ming to spare his wife. Otherwise, he will humiliate Zidan. In despair, Sheng Han kneels and begs his brother to spare his wife. Unexpectedly, Sheng Ming actually spares Zidan. The next day, Sheng Ming imitates Sheng Han's handwriting and forces his brother to sign an edict relinquishing his position as general and giving him the military power. Zidan, not wanting Sheng Ming to make things difficult for her husband, agrees to help him find the Hu Clan tattoo amulet. So, Sheng Ming gives her her father's belongings to search for clues. After searching, Zidan finds a piece of paper in a book. After reading it, Zidan quickly hides it. Then she lies that activating the Hu Clan tattoo requires a special medicine. Unexpectedly, Sheng Ming believes her and makes a skin cream for her to apply. But he soon realizes something is wrong and checks the book. He finds a note hidden between the pages. He opens it and discovers the way to activate the Hu Clan tattoo is for the couple to consummate their marriage. He can't wait any longer and forces Zidan to sleep with him, but Zidan is not easily subdued. She secretly pricks him with a hallucinogenic needle. Sheng Ming falls into a hallucination. He laughs to himself, believing he has achieved his goal with Zidan. Zidan goes to bed with Sheng Han. After sleeping with her husband, the Hu Clan tattoo on Zidan's chest is fully revealed. The next thing she needs to do is detoxify Sheng Han as soon as possible. However, she already took the antidote when she was caught. The only way now is a blood transfusion to transfer the poison from Sheng Han into Zidan's body to completely remove it. So, while her husband is unconscious, she cuts her wrist and performs a blood transfusion. After detoxifying her husband, Zidan goes to find Sheng Ming and tells him the Hu Clan tattoo has appeared. Hearing this, Sheng Ming thinks he consummated the marriage with Zidan and is overjoyed, but he doesn't realize he was hallucinating when he learned she consummated her marriage with Sheng Han. He is enraged and wants to kill Zidan. But she is not afraid of death, because once Zidan dies, the Hu Clan tattoo will disappear completely. If he wants the Hu Clan tattoo, Zidan decides to fulfill his wish. So she cuts the Hu Clan tattoo from her skin and gives it to him. After obtaining the Hu Clan tattoo, Sheng Ming thinks he finally has everything he wants. But surprisingly, the Hu Clan tattoo disappears. How is this possible? My body is the Hu Clan tattoo. Once it leaves my body, it will disappear with the skin. Seeing he can't get the Hu Clan tattoo, Sheng Ming flies into a rage and tries to kill Zidan, but he suddenly clutches his chest in pain. Zidan takes this opportunity to provoke him. Just as Sheng Ming is about to kill Zidan again, Sheng Han arrives with his soldiers. Seeing he is defeated, Sheng Ming crawls and begs his brother for mercy. Sheng Han doesn't want to kill him, but Sheng Ming tries to attack him. So a guard kills Sheng Ming. Without mercy, the schemer finally meets his end. Zidan collapses from her injuries, falling into her husband's arms. Due to severe blood vessel blockage, Zidan falls into a coma, and no one knows when she'll wake up. However, under her husband's care, she soon awakens.